Okie dokie, Council Club once again. Today is Thursday, April 14th, and this is probably going to be a short conversation this evening just because it was a really short meeting on Tuesday, about a half an hour-ish. And then there is not a meeting on this upcoming Tuesday the 19th due to Easter, I suppose. So I guess as far as, the last meeting, not surprising to anyone probably, everything passed, nothing really to say about a lot of that. The only thing that there was a few things, I suppose, but one that was kind of entertaining was watching Harding decide not to speak. It was after, for those of you who've been to Council Club and or watched the meetings, when Councillor Johnson decided to lay over the purchase of some properties in her district so that the new owner could meet with the neighborhood. Brinker Harding lost his mind and was like really upset and voted no for the delay. Anyway, so
they got into it, and Festerson even said, like, "Hey, was that the 9 o'clock meeting?"
I think it did. Yeah, I think that was the really late
I think he was just like, "It's 9 o'clock. We're all getting a little bit punchy. How about we take care of this later?" And so they were like, "Oh," and he gave the Councilmember Harding gave the, I don't know how to describe that, his no vote. He was, no.
Yeah, it was just
he's so most angry no vote we ever heard from him.
Yeah.
So he turned his light on, and they recognized him, and you could see him just being like,
thinking about
I just want to stick my foot in my mouth. And it was, yeah. And Councilmember Johnson was like, "Hey, thanks for coming to the meeting with the neighborhood association." It sounds like it actually was a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, usually communication is good, and usually Brinker's an idiot, so that didn't really surprise me. But
especially when the applicant was totally open to going to the meeting. I mean, the applicant himself had no problem with it, so Brinker was just like getting his knickers in a knot for nothing.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right. So, did anything else come up at that meeting that anybody else noticed?
There was that weird proclamation at the beginning to thank. Is it Omaha Public Schools Library?
Well, Melton made sure it wasn't just Omaha Public Schools; it was private schools as well. But school librarians was the proclamation thanking school librarians, which is good.
Yeah. And then Pete patted himself on the back for getting a 1 mile trail extended from kind of like from Gallup to the airport. But yeah, there was zero opposition. I don't think anyone spoke, including Larry. Larry didn't speak. Donnie Johnson was there. He did not speak.
Although he lined his little weird books up. Yeah. If you ever look, there's one camera angle where if you're looking at the person that's testifying behind them, like to the left, you can see sometimes there's like a latte there. I think that's Larry's latte. But now Larry's got a weird buddy, Donnie Johnson, and they sit kind of together. And he was like lining up different books. I don't know. It's weird. That's like talking about that because there wasn't really that much else exciting, I guess, on the agenda. But those two, just it's an interesting duo of testifiers. But all right, anybody else have any other thoughts on what happened a couple days ago, Tuesday, or we'll look forward?
Yeah, it was quick.
All right, good then. So I think the thing that, and I have not clicked through every one of these and read every attachment. Like I said, I would just not feeling it today. My hip does feel better. I'm not crying this week. That's exciting. But the big one was the TIF, more TIF for HDR in Exarban Village. I don't know if everybody or anybody had a chance to look at that. It's item 64, which is being laid over until April 26th to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. Although I think it's hilarious that they think public hearing matters on TIF because they always vote for it. So doesn't really matter what we think, but they will be using some money to build like a pickleball court and a bunch of other stuff. Actually, what I wanted to bring up with this group, if y'all follow Dr. Erin Feitinger on Twitter, she was saying something about more parking in Exarban Village, and I didn't read every single letter of every single page of this attachment, but I didn't think that this was for more parking. I think this is just a revamp of the application that they had already submitted, and they're not asking for more TIF for like the dog park and the expansion of those kind of like actually seemingly public amenities. If we're talking about TIF and how it's abused all the time, this would potentially be, if it really is open to the public, this is not my least favorite use of TIF.
But when I think blighted, I think Exarban Village.
Right, exactly.
Like nothing says blighted like is HDR a Fortune 500 company?
Yeah, that's their global headquarters.
Yeah, we got a Fortune 500 company, pickleball courts, dog park,
movie theater,
Maha Festival. It's so blighted.
Yeah, super blighted.
Yeah. So I think that wasn't that part of the pre-council talk was like, when is Exarban not going to be blighted anymore?
That was just a text I got from Aaron. But yeah, I'm
And the answer is, and I meant to reply to her back. It's in the city council's. It's up to the city council to delist or undesignate a CRA. The new census data, so I don't even know when Exarban was blighted or designated blighted status. But the new census data will not change any of that. It will not get updated. It literally comes down to the city council saying, hey, you know what? We want to delist this. It's no longer blighted.
Given that the designation has to be asked for essentially by a developer, then yeah, so I am interested in how it gets delisted. I mean, the city council members, from what I see, they don't really initiate much activity. They typically respond to what people bring to them. So, I mean, is there anyone who would be likely to lead that initiative?
I have to go back and look at so the only one that I can remember was the TD Ameritrade building out, was at 108th and Old Mill.
Right.
That one was delisted. And I think, I think it might have even been from TD Ameritrade.
That's what I was going to say. I think the developers are probably going to be like, all right, we're done abusing TIF in XYZ neighborhood now. You can. And
they paid their loan off super quick. And I know that there was some talk of the neighborhood, people that had homes. It was a really small district, like not even the full census block. But there were homes in that district, and they thought it was going to affect their home value. I don't think that's ever been shown to affect it one way or the other. But I do think I wouldn't be surprised if it has to come from the developer. So they're not going to, they might listen to a citizen, but
I feel like
likely.
Isn't the TIF report, the annual TIF report, supposed to come out soon?
Yeah, in April.
Yeah, so it's April. So I guess there's a couple weeks left, but that'll be something that'll be interesting to kind of maybe digest a little bit once it comes out. Talk about that. But yeah, I emailed Begley, and I don't know, it was a while ago, about, hey, how about we start talking about undesignating some of these CRAs, because yeah, we overheard when we used to actually go to city council, we overheard Begley saying something to, was it the planning? I don't remember. He was whispering to somebody like, is Blackstone always going to be blighted or something like that? And we were like, he's thinking about it. So maybe, I mean, obviously Blackstone's a lost cause with the streetcar TIF and all that stuff. That was
specifically from Bridget Hadley. She was like, Blackstone will not be delisted until the streetcar goes in.
Yeah.
And so another 5-10 years.
But Exarban Village, come on, like that is not the definition of substandard. Because actually, yeah, if you did look at it, now it's all new buildings, and part of what one of the requirements is like 40 years or older building age or something like that.
And condition.
Right. Don Seaton just made that whole presentation, I think it was 2 meetings ago. He seemed rather defensive about all of it. Yeah. And was listing the criteria and explaining how the area only had to meet one of the criteria, and what I think whatever area they were talking about in the moment met 3 or 4 of the criteria. But yeah, one of them is that a certain percentage of the buildings are 40 years old.
That's Saratoga, I think that's called. Where they're putting in that new by Dinkers.
Yeah, it was that whole South Omaha big.
That's right.
Yeah.
With that interesting, seemingly bright testifier who was appalled at all of the lack of transparency. But yeah.
Here's something in the definition from lincoln.ne.gov. An area can be designated as blighted if it has a diversity of ownership.
What?
I'm reading this,
mean?
just reading this, trying to find that age thing, and it says, if the area has a diversity of ownership.
What is that supposed to even
I wonder
mean?
if that's just for Lincoln, or is that a state document? I feel like every city kind of has their own.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I looked up Nebraska, and it says paraphrased from Nebraska law, but this isn't the actual law. I'm just trying to read this paraphrase thing.
Okay. Interesting. Yeesh, I hope it doesn't. Well, it probably does. There's all sorts of weird things written into law.
And you were saying that I know that wasn't the goal that you wanted, but Strong Towns just did a TIFF article.
I think they just reposted it from Bloomberg, but okay. About TIFF and how it's not what people make it out to be. But it wasn't, I don't know, I was hoping for some new information. It's like, yeah, it's vague, it's usually not used, how it was designed, people get upset about it, blah, blah, blah.
And is Card Free Midwest interviewing Strong Towns? Or is it a different person?
Chuck Marone.
That's different?
No, he's with
Strong Towns? Sorry,
now I'm confusing him with another guy who's another engineer, but I think it is.
Chuck Marone is Strong Towns, yeah.
Thank you. Who's the other? I'm not gonna have enough information to be.
He's the one that boycotted Omaha.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's the walking guy.
Jeff Speck.
Thank you, Jeff Speck. Okay, that's who I'm confusing with.
Which one are you interviewing?
Now I don't even know.
I think you're interviewing Jeff Speck.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. That actually really helps because I was just looking for an email where I lined it up with I think I was looking for Chuck Marone instead of Jeff Speck. Good thing they probably don't watch this. If they are, sorry fellas, you're both delightful humans that probably don't appreciate what's happening in Omaha.
Are you going to have Speck on Car Free Midwest?
Yes.
Excellent.
Cool. Yeah, I emailed him a while ago, and he was like, "Get back to me in April. Things will lighten up for me then." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Because I wrote him. I said, "This is a long shot, but I know you are boycotting Omaha, and I have a lot of feelings about Omaha and how we're not doing things well when it comes to like bike walk, spaces. Do you want to come on this little podcast that I have?" And he says, "Not a silly question. I'd love to." So we don't have a date nailed down, but we're also interviewing the mayor of Emeryville, California, John Bowders, who is a big deal on Twitter and is like a young, smart, cool mayor who cares about bikes and, just good public spaces and like people-oriented policies.
Did you say he's from the Midwest? We don't know where.
Michigan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we're interviewing him on the 19th. So it'll be enlightening, I'm sure. Blackstone mayor?
The press conference.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't watch the whole press conference. I did read, all of the improvements they're doing to Blackstone.
So the mayor had a press conference. What?
Pilot project. It's another flipping
that's right.
pilot.
That's what triggered me. Yep.
My head exploded when I read that. I was just like, why are we incapable of just doing good projects? Like, why does everything have to be like, we
exactly.
Don't know?
It's like, there's plenty of evidence about what works.
Yep.
So just do that. Some of it. It doesn't even have to be all of it. Just some of the things.
Right.
But they are doing a crosswalk at 39th?
Yeah, because that was one of the things when I was with ModeShift, I was in touch with their BID and pushing back heavily on the beautiful new plans that are going to be done in 2023 that did not include crosswalks at every intersection. I'm like, this is a whole drunk district and you're not going to put crosswalks and then you're going to blame people when they get hit and killed outside of a crosswalk because of your negligence, City of Omaha. You better freaking put some more crosswalks.
And that's going to be, there's not going to be a traffic signal, right?
Not at most of them, no.
So that's going to be a crosswalk without a traffic signal.
Yeah.
And the state law says that cars will have to stop.
Yield to pedestrians.
Will there be a beg button at least? No signal at all? Just paint on the pavement?
I believe so.
I think it says paint on the pavement. Because, I hate to say it, because drivers in Omaha they think they have the right of way. And crosswalks be damned.
That's right.
That's going to be a real interesting. Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I compare the crosswalk count in these up and coming districts like South 13th Street or Blackstone, and compare the number of crosswalks you see in Benson. So why is it that we have crosswalks at every intersection in Benson, but we don't have them anywhere else?
I'm sure they'll say something about how it's a state highway, or they're all intersections with lights. Those are my first two guesses.
Okay, let's put in some lights.
But yeah.
No, they're going to slow traffic down. People want to get from point A to point B as fast as they can.
Yeah.
They can ride that new 70-mile-per-hour streetcar.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, I know what else we were talking about. So, was that? I mean, it's been a while ago, but do you remember when this was at City Council and Senator Wayne came to testify on behalf of his client? He was there as Attorney Wayne, not Senator Wayne, nothing about TIF or anything like that, but he was representing a business who had a bid into the city for, I want to say, hauling sludge.
Yeah, the sludge cakes with
yeah.
a side dump.
Yeah. And so there was a bunch of back and forth about whether or not his client's truck was functional for the purpose or whatever. Jim Tyler of Public Works, who has helped us out with getting stuff done when no one else responds, stood up and kind of said that someone was lying and that the truck didn't work. Anyway, there was some back and forth, and then Senator Wayne was like, well, there might be a lawsuit. And then we read about a lawsuit, but it's a different lawsuit. The title is Black Businessman Files Civil Rights Suit Against the City for Custodial Services of Parks and Facilities. And he's claiming that it's racism. I'm going to copy this link and drop it in the chat here.
So this is just this, yeah, this, which is fine. This is one of the times he's had multiple bids rejected. Yeah, so it's a link to City Council where he is contesting his bid. I think it would have been February of 2020, and they gave him. I believe they accepted his. He got back in the system, but yeah, we should have linked to the article.
That's what I'm gonna try to find the article. Wasn't there? I think that there was another one that was not the World Herald. It's easier to read. Well, if you can get past the paywall, here's the Omaha article.
But it talks a lot about tier 1 and tier 2 contractors. And I guess tier 1 are smaller businesses, and they have to be given, even though they might not have all the bells and whistles or whatever, they're still supposed to be given preferential treatment. Did you see in the article how he talks about how he feels targeted because he did open records requests?
Yeah, that was the thing that stuck out to me the most, just knowing how vindictive the city of Omaha can be. Sometimes.
I did see that article. Yeah, it was not surprising,
right?
But it's good that it's not just you.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, that's nice. There's more of us. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that.
Yeah, filed several requests. A demand letter. I don't know what a demand letter is.
Challenging the trash contract.
Which is wow. So that's wild. Yeah.
The now pending lawsuit was filed by him as a third-party resident of Omaha. I don't know. Maybe he's just litigious. It also could be. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting thing, especially when someone sent us both the article, and I instantly was like, oh, I wonder if that's Senator Wayne's client, but nope.
Well, Councilmember Johnson has been posting it. So I believe this would, tier 1 contractors. I don't. Is he claiming that they're being? I don't think it's because he's a Black person, but it seems to be like he's, so he said that they've only given out, they've given pennies. They're supposed to prioritize contracts for tier 1 contractors, even though it's supposed to help smaller businesses.
Minority owned.
Yeah, exactly. So he did the records request and found out that they've given $1 million to non-tier 1 and 15,000 to tier 1 in contracts.
Why
so he's kind of, it's going to be, But it was interesting that Councilmember Johnson's promoting this. This is like, I mean, obviously she's only been there a year. This is before her time. But yeah, very similar to Senator Wayne's loss. Or we don't know if he ever did sue over the side dump. They definitely did not get the contract.
Right. This is BJ's Fleet Wash.
And so they were in charge of custodial services at parks. Oh, and it also said, that Brooks, the old park director, Brooke Bench, that he quit after 20-something years with the city.
He went to Council Bluffs.
Oh, okay.
Resigned.
Yeah, resigned after 24 years with the city. That's funny. He went. I didn't know he went to Council Bluffs.
I think he's the one who did. One of the parks guys, I'm sure did. I'm pretty sure it was him.
You just send the Dennis.
Oh, in parks?
Yeah.
Question about this?
No, just send him to Council Bluffs.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Bye, Dennis. That would be nice. Okay. Anything else that hopped out to anybody else as far as what's going to be coming down the pipe?
There's 1 day left in the legislature. I think that they have 1 day left just for veto overrides. I think they wait for the governor to sign or veto any last minute bills, and then next Wednesday, I think is the last day. And then does anyone know if we have another session? Do we have another special session in the summer? I was trying to look and the calendar is not working on the Nebraska.
They have a short and a long session each year.
This is the 60-day one.
So the next one's 90.
Yeah. But we have 2 sessions each year?
No, it's every other year.
Okay.
So the next session's not going to be until 23? The 90-day session? I couldn't even find
I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
I'm definitely wrong. I'm going to not suggest.
I heard something about a special session. I don't know if they're like threatening to have a special session or what, but they got so much done.
I'm gonna ask my husband, who's sitting nearby.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then I wrote down some notes for the vote by mail.
Yeah, that's good enough. January is when the next one will start.
Of next year.
Wow.
January of, early next year.
Oh, the 90s.
Unless there's a special session that I don't know about, or that John doesn't know about.
Yeah, I think they were just threatening it.
Which is unlikely. The governor has to call that, and that's not going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they were threatening if he didn't get his lake or tax cuts for the rich. Yeah, I think he got all that. So yeah, I wrote down. I had some notes for. I don't know if other people have gotten their vote by mail. I know a friend of mine actually requested a vote by mail, did not get it, and I believe he just called the election commissioner. There's a whole process where you have to sign a form and they'll request another ballot to be sent. It sounds like the ballot got lost in the mail. I know their partner got one delivered to the same location. So if you haven't gotten your ballot yet, you can certainly check online to see if it, first of all, if it was sent. And then if it was sent, you should have received it by now. Yeah, I think we have until May 9th to put them back. So we still have a couple of weeks to figure things out, but.
I did call the Elections Commission office today because I realized that I'm going to be out of town, and I asked if they had early voting hours, and they said they did. And I also asked if they had a bike rack, and they said they do not. And if I were to come with my bike, which is the only form of transportation I own right now, that I could lock it up next to the handicap marking on the parking. So that is their only option for me. So.
Which I wonder, half the time that would be blocking a ramp.
Yeah.
Like if you're locking it to the accessible stall sign, then that's probably making it less accessible.
I literally got the same or a very similar not to trigger Sarah, but when the bike corral was removed in Omaha, I'm sorry, in Benson, Public Works, the director of Public Works was telling people to lock their bikes to the handicap ramp outside of the post office. And I went and asked the post office, I'm just like, hey, I was just like, you ever seen anyone lock a bike to the handicap ramp? They're like, no, that would block wheelchairs. You can't do that. I'm like, I know. Imagine a public engineer telling people to do that. Like, how silly. But
wow.
Man, that's going to be a haul for, I think is it early voting? It's like 120th and Center.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there. So that will be my fun adventure for tomorrow. I'm off work, so I'm just gonna have a nice fun bike adventure. I didn't check the weather though, so I should probably do that.
Yeah, do a bus. You could do like a bus bike combo.
Yeah.
I was just gonna suggest that bike on the bus.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just did like a 34-mile gravel ride in Kansas last weekend, and that was fine. So this is all street. It's fine.
Wow. It's more just the jerks in the cars that I don't like. But
fair.
Not doubting your abilities, just the.
That's fair. I'll probably die.
You know. No shit. Knock on wood. Ash will be safe. Ash will be happy.
Just make sure you get a white bike and put it right in front of Mayor Stothard's residence. That'd be great.
Yeah, my word.
And Ash? Is it too late to request a vote by mail, or is this you just not?
I don't think it's too late, but I'm not sure if it'll get here in time. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go early vote.
Reasonable. Cool. Well, thanks for the info, and sorry about their silly answer. Not surprising.
So there's a few. I'm not sure. I guess I don't want to say who you should vote for. I guess I can say who I'm going to vote for. And this is one that is the Metropolitan. So the community college has a board of governors. They have districts, but they also have an at-large seat. And so the at-large district is 5 counties: Dodge, Washington, Sarpy. I forget. It's huge. It's massive. And so I'm voting for, and we have the arts out front, so I'm pretty sure you're voting for as well.
I already did.
I think you might have even donated to her campaign. Kristen Dupree. So if you guys are looking for someone, and again, I think that's everyone on this call is going to be in that district or in the Metropolitan Community College District at large. So Kristen Dupree is who we are voting for. And then for those of you that are in District 2, again, Metropolitan Community College District 2, Dr. Erin Feichinger is running again. She's been there at least 4 years or 6 years. And so you know her as Dr. Erin on Twitter. She obviously will get our vote. And then I had some other ones in the notes. Oh, so Legislative District 20 used to be John McAllister, and a John Fredrickson is running. That's if I lived in LA 20, that's what I would be voting for. And then John McAllister is term limited, but so he's running for MUD, which I thought was pretty interesting. District 6, MUD District 6. And then Craig Moody is running for OPPD, re-election of OPPD District 5. We're in Eric Williams district, so we can't get a vote for him. And then same thing with Deborah Neary. She's running for State Board of Education in District 8. I forget which one we're in, but we're not in her district. It's close, but not on. And then Douglas County Sheriff, I don't quite know. I haven't made up my mind on that yet. You guys have any thoughts on the sheriff? It's Wayne Hudson and Greg Gonzalez. Who we get a vote for? I get a vote for.
Yeah.
I can tell you that some of the people I follow are supporting Gonzalez because he's kind of a South O guy. I can tell you that my husband is going to vote for Wayne Hudson because he's a UNO College of Public Affairs and Community Service alumni. Okay. And John says he's a good guy. I haven't done my due diligence yet, so I haven't decided for myself yet, but yeah, for whatever that's all worth.
We actually watched so the Fabric Lab, which is that Sparks thing, Sparks CDI on a 24th and Lake. They had a really amazing, I don't know if you already talked about this, but a town hall with the chief of police, Omaha, Todd Schmatter, and then Wade Hudson, who is the current deputy sheriff or sheriff deputy or whatever they call it, of Douglas County. And it wasn't a campaign event. It was a town hall. They talked about a few things, and then they opened it up for like a half hour of Q&A. And Preston Love Jr. was sort of moderating. But man, the questions that they got asked, and like they were in the hot seat, and like it was
as they should be. They are ignoring. Like, see, I can't even. Really
I almost want to go back and watch it again just to like watch them squirm and like. And I thanked the Fabric Lab personally just for like
hosting.
What a great town hall! Like, can you imagine if any from the mayor or the city council or even the Douglas County commissioners or any elected officials? I know Todd Schmatter, chief of police, is not elected, but oh man, it was just amazing to watch them. Like props go out to Fabric Lab and Preston Love Jr. for moderating it and just it gave me. I respected Wayne Hudson just for showing up and taking the tough questions. And although he did hand out.
Yeah, see, I lost a lot of respect. I mean, I will tell you, I don't respect Chief Todd Schmatter and the way that a lot of stuff was handled a few summers ago, and just kind of in general, I think that we could be doing and should be doing a lot better. And the fact that the Todd was out campaigning with Hudson, I was just like, okay, well, I won't vote for him. And then I'm sorry to cut you off because you should say that, but they were handing out, I'm going to say it. They were handing out these clear things to attach to your visor so that you don't get shot by the cops if you reach for your glove box.
You're supposed to put your ID and like your insurance and your registration, your car registration. And so, and they're like these literal, like he came back. So I talked to the Fabric Lab. He came back like a week later with more. And they're just.
That's so gross.
Exactly. Yeah. At that point, I was like, fuck you. No.
And people were even just like to his face being like, this is going to stop me from getting shot.
By you?
Like,
yeah.
And they actually did talk a little bit about no-knock warrants. Like, do I put it on outside of my house so before you do a no-knock warrant, not to kill the people you aren't looking for? But I think an artist might be doing something with the little plastic baggies.
That would be their highest and best use.
It's a strange place where we're threatened by people with guns in their cars, but we're also trying to pass these open carry laws. Like, definitely two different worlds of people here. Some of you need to like keep your hands on the steering wheel where I can see them, and some of you, I don't care, carry whatever you want.
It's constitutional carry because we already have open carry. I believe Nebraska's an open carry, but yeah, constitutional carry, no permits, and you can conceal it. So I don't know if you watched any of that, but the Omaha police specifically were against the legislation, and they tried to pass an amendment that carved out Lincoln and Omaha. Because I was thinking, was it Kenny Smith? Who's a young man that got shot in Omaha?
Oh yeah, Ken Smith. Yeah,
Ken Smith, Kenneth, or was it Jones? Anyways, there was that person that got shot in Omaha for having a gun. That would have been constitutional carry. And so they don't want any of that. Jones? Yeah. Kenneth Jones.
35 years old.
Yeah, in 2001. I think it was in South Omaha. But there was that video he was reaching. This is like
2001?
I'm sorry, 2021. Yeah. But I think that bill failed. Yeah, because that's right. It totally failed because Senator Brewer
lost his
right.
Yeah,
lost it.
And he's like, I'm going after Megan Hunt. Anyone who's running against Megan Hunt, you got my full support. And basically trying to get people all ginned up and like.
Yeah, it seems super threatening and completely off base. Like, just, man, this state is quite a place.
Yeah, so he basically said he was sorry he didn't invite all the gun rights advocates to come to the Capitol with their guns.
Right.
Yeah.
To intimidate people into voting.
That was
more guns. Like, what the fuck? It's just.
That was the Boogaloo Boys that came a couple years ago, dressed in the Hawaiian shirts.
So messed up.
So, what about bond issues? Have you guys had a chance? Anyone had a chance to look at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And according to this mailer, vote yes on all of them. Improve Omaha Committee to Improve Omaha. Vote yes for all 6 bonds. I think Sarah and I was saying I don't like the way that Omaha is spending our money, especially on streets and public safety. So I'm not going to vote. I'm probably not going to vote for any of them.
I
also think it doesn't matter.
I agree. I think they'll all probably pass, and it'll be what it'll be. But on this first one, the Special City of Omaha election, 15 million. It's public facilities bonds, and they're like little for the police, little for libraries, little for like, it's like, why? Anyway, I voted no on that one. And then the environmental sewer bonds, I did vote yes on that because I think that it is important to make sure that our sewer system is up to date. And then I also did vote yes on the parks and recreation bonds as well, but I voted no on the other ones. I don't know. Again, it'll probably happen. I'm also confused. Like, this is additional from the $200 million street bond we just voted.
That's what I was confused about. It's like, is this the breakdown of the 200 million, or are these all new things?
I feel like it's a new one, but I don't even know where. Someone was asking me where to research these, and I was like, I have no idea. Does anyone know the answer to that?
I try to look for a website. They don't have a website. They don't have Facebook.
For the people that think you should vote yes on everything.
Yeah. They're basically just a campaign,
they're
a
just
committee
telling
for
you
mailers.
to do it, but they're not going to give you any information. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. What's 10832 Old Mill Road number 2? That's where their headquarters are.
Yeah.
Interesting. Will not raise taxes, so I don't know how it works. I don't know. Bonds in general kind of.
But bonds are just a tax by another name.
That's what I thought. Like, how is
so
it gonna? Yeah.
You're paying for it either way. It's coming out of our city, so.
Yeah. I don't know. So, if anyone learns, I mean, I've already voted, so my no's are in. But I feel like, that.
Well, there's one on the back too.
Yeah.
120 million for street preservation.
Yeah. So I voted.
I'm sorry if somebody's already said this, but and I had, like I say, I haven't started looking yet. But did the League of Women Voters in their voters guide, do they have anything about the bonds?
I don't know. That's a good question. Oh geez, that's not what I want. I don't know if it's just about candidates or if it is in general.
I think it's that one.
This?
Do the voters guide
there. Okay. A lot about
it's all just
districts.
It's all people, not.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, 42.
So page 42.
Page 42. Good call, Lori. I just voted
put it
angrily
in the chat.
before I
think it's the last page of the guide. Sarah just put it in the chat. Page 42. There we go. Sweet. Give us some. Oh no.
All it does is repeat the. Yeah, that's not helpful at all. All it does is repeats what's already on your ballot.
Oh, shall the city?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, sometimes they'll I think put it in more lay language. So it'll say something like a vote yes means this, a vote no but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it looks like
all right.
Copied and pasted from the.
So here is. Oh, I wanted to try this weird new thing I saw. Whoa, I can draw. Did y'all know you can draw? I did not. Also, I don't know how to get it out of there. Oh, undo. Anyway, yeah, so it doesn't look like there's, oh sheesh, I don't know how to get out of there now. Okay, cool. Doesn't look like there's really information. It's just
it's literally copied. It's word for word what's already in your thing.
All right, well, that was worth a shot. Good idea though, Lori, because just for those of you that don't know, the League of Women Voter, their guide is really usually if a candidate doesn't answer their questions don't take that candidate seriously. Like that's the guide. You have to answer those questions.
I think so too. That's a threshold. It's like if you can't even answer those questions, then yeah, I'm not going to pay any attention to me.
I think when you ran for city council and you did like a interview with them, right? Or a Zoom, whatever. And it
was like a debate.
And they're trying to get Paul Anderson, and they got him on the phone, and he's just like,
I'm in my basement.
Yeah.
They're like, could you go upstairs or wherever your computer is? Because we're doing this. He's like, it's happening right now. No, go ahead without me. And they're like, okay. It was just like really funny. But, yeah. And then it was just me and Pete. Good times. But yeah, check out the voter's guide if you have not already voted. Brush up on what your candidates are thinking.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Does anybody else have anything else to contribute to the conversation before we hit stop on the recording and then can share freely other information if we have it?
Oh, there will not be a tax increase.
I know, it says right there on this.
Not a tax increase. There will not be a tax increase.
I don't know. I want more information about who that group is. All right. Seeing none, I will hit stop recording.